gather around, PureSkill family. This your boy Sharif, and I'm back at it with another video. Alright, today we're doing a tour of Blender because I want you guys to get accustomed to it, get familiar with it, and I want to just throw a few tips out there before I do my series where I take my drawing that from my design process video and turn it into a 3D character for you guys to rig and animate. Let's get into it. Alright, if you're looking on your screen, this is the first thing you that Blender has when you pop up on the app. Once you pop it open and you download it from the site, you guys can look up any tutorial on how to download it. It's all over the place. Once you've got this open, you're on object mode. What I want you guys to understand about Blender is everything is separated very simply and easily for you to access. Now, one of the main things I want you guys to understand about 3D modeling in general, whether it be on Blender, whether it be on Maya, or whatever you use, the central idea is you're creating forms by moving vertices. Now, as a 3D artist, it's your job to create the complex forms that a lot of people will find typically hard, like a car, a human, a character, or whatever we make down the line. You understand what I'm saying? So in each mode of Blender, you're either doing one of two things. You're either having a unique way to move the vertices around so that you can get the result that you want, or you are progressing further in the pipeline, whether that be everything else is after you've done modeling. Once you've done modeling, then you have a place for texture painting and material shading, and you have a place for animation, and you have a place for rigging. Those are all after 3D modeling. But anything that doesn't have to do with 3D, anything that's not after 3D modeling, anything to do with 3D modeling, is just a place where you can uniquely move vertices around. So this is object mode, where you take a form that you've already done creating, or you just started creating, or even in the middle of the process, just a form, and you can't move its vertices, but you're moving the vertices of itself around the 3D world. That's what this mode is for. If I go into edit mode, now you can see I can edit these vertices and move these around. What's it called? So you have all of these tools over here, and you have all these tools over here to do unique things, and we'll get into those throughout the videos that I do and show you guys, and I'll show you guys how to model and 3D retopologize and do all of those things, and we'll use all of these tools. So I'll get into those in those videos. And this is just a tour of Blender because a lot of people find it difficult to use Blender, but I don't think it's too difficult. I think it's just a lot of things that you can do, and if you don't have the right mindset going in, then you'll struggle, obviously. But that's one way of moving these vertices around to get whatever result you want. You can scale all of them, making sure I'll make sure to teach you guys this 3D cursor right here. You see this, what I'm hovering my mouse over? That is a very important tool, and how to use it, and it will level up your 3D modeling in any type of way that you need. You can grab, in this mode, you can also grab edges, which is basically just two vertices at the same time that's across from each other. I extruded. You can move them around. You can extrude whatever you need. Do whatever you need. You can grab faces, move them. That's four vertices, or how many ever vertices that face is made of. Now, mind you, when you're modeling, I'm going to teach you guys how to keep good topology. Good topology generally means keeping your quads, keeping squares, and just meaning that each face has four sides. It doesn't have to be in the shape of a square that you typically see, just that each face has four sides. A lot of times games use triangles, but you need not worry about that, because once you make your model in here in quads, just importing it into Unreal or any other game engine will automatically turn your model into triangles. And then angons, typically you don't want to use those. That's where you get into bad topology. You don't want to use angons. Angons is anything over any face that has more than 4 vertices. Vertices are these little points, dots, right here that's highlighted. Each one of these is a vertex. So this box, and you can see the statistics of everything you have in here, right here, when you add statistics in this menu bar right here. Statistics on, off, on, off, on, off. You understand? So this box has 8 vertices, 4 at the top, 4 at the bottom. What's it called? Okay, so now in scope mode is tricky because you're moving vertices, but it requires you to have a lot of vertices. Scope mode is typically used when you're creating organic models like humans, creatures, or whatever you need. You can make hard surface models in sculpting, and I'll show you guys how to do that as well. I typically make hard surface models from reference in edit mode, and then if I'm creating a hard surface model or like a robot or something like that that's not already made, that's not already out there, I'll use scope mode and retopologize. Anything I sculpt, or I'll show you guys to sculpt, we will retopologize anyway, because that is how you keep, 1, good topology, 2, you're able to continue using it, as in texturing it properly and animating it. You want to retopologize your models. What's it called? But that will be all in edit mode, of course. All of these are little brushes that you can use. These are the ones in Blender already, and I'll show you guys how to make brushes for you to do things that Blender doesn't already have immediately. But the trick to sculpting is you'll always end up with bad topology, because it's organic and it's putting detail in certain places and leaving out detail in other places, and it's really giving you exactly what you want, and it's really similar to actual sculpting. So if you want to get better at real life sculpting and you just don't have clay all the time, you can definitely use Blender and you'll get better at that. What's it called? So what I will say is I can't exactly just sculpt on this because it has very few vertices. You have to sculpt with a lot of vertices, and then, like I said, retopologize to get that vertice count down and make sure that your computer runs smoothly. What I can say is, what I will do is I'll show you. Over here is a modifier. All of these are modifiers, and they're divided by what they do. So these are physics simulations. I'll teach you guys about that. Some deform modifiers to, of course, deform your mesh. And these are some generation modifiers that obviously generate things or take away things, and edit modifiers that edit stuff. I don't really use these too many times, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they come in handy when they do. These are geometry nodes. I'm not too in depth with geometry nodes, but I do know how to use them to a certain extent. So I'll teach you guys how to do that. What's it called? This is your animation section, and this is your basic outliner that just tells you everything that's in there. Now, all of these can be edited right here, and you can go to different editors like the shader editor, which I'll teach you how to use, the video sequencer. You can go and move things around, change it however you need, add screens, remove screens, and you can always take them away by just moving them back in place. And for some reason I'm forgetting how to automatically put it back the way it is, the way it's supposed to be, but it's something up here. But if you guys remember, if someone's watching this and they know Blender, you guys can put in how to put it back automatically, but pretty much it's pretty simple. You just move everything back in place. But what's it called? I came over here to do a modifier, show you guys subdivision surface. That's gonna give you more topology to work with. You can be simple. Simple just doesn't take away its shape. And Calamuck Clark, I don't know how to pronounce that, makes it like a ball, which is best for sculpting. So if I apply the modifier, it's gonna give me more vertices. And if I go up here and turn on wireframe, you can see the difference. If I control Z, you see the wireframe like this, and then you see the wireframe with it applied. Okay, so now if I go into scope mode, I can come here and grab and pull and do anything I want. You understand what I'm saying? You can smooth it out. And I just want you guys, what I want you guys to do, because I will be doing a course on 3D modeling, 3D modeling characters, and how to what's it called? You can 3D model. I'm gonna show you guys how to 3D model characters and rig them and animate them. So I want you guys to get accustomed to these and just get used to playing around in it, so that when I do go in depth with the specific tutorials on sculpting, specific tutorials on 3D modeling, specific tutorials on animation, rigging, and all those good things, you guys are like, okay, I kind of know what this does. I kind of know what that does. You understand what I'm saying? And I could just show you the pro tips. You understand what I'm saying? But you see how it gives you like a real stretched out and it's like kind of bad topology. You need not worry about that, only because after you sculpt something, the typical routine is to retopologize it. Retopologizing simply means rewrapping it so that you can create another model that's exactly like that model, but just with better topology. Simple as that. And it sounds difficult, but it's gonna be very simple, and I'll show you guys how to do it. What's it called? What else am I missing? Pretty much that's the basics of it. Right now I'm just using the mouse to do all of the things that I just showed you guys how to do. So just to play around, you can use a mouse. I'm going to use a drawing pad so that you guys I can show you guys how to actually get a good result with your 3D models and different things like that. You can turn off wireframe just by turning it off. And shade smooth, so you see how you can see the little squares like this. You can also shade smooth just by right clicking and shade smoothing. Now it looks smooth again. But what's it called? That's essentially all you're doing. See how all I'm doing is moving vertices to get a form that I desire, to get the form that I want. If I want a character to look like a monster, I'm going to move the vertices enough times in enough ways intentionally to get what looks like a monster, what looks like a zombie, or what looks like whatever I will want. You understand what I'm saying? And if you go to stats right here, you can see you have 6,000 vertices, which for a model like this, you will want to reduce that poly count. You understand what I'm saying? Even though we didn't do like in-depth movement or sculpting with this, so you pretty much still have your quads intact, but I'll show you guys how to do all those good things. You have these tabs up here that kind of just take you in and out of modeling automatically. So like I showed you guys how to go up here and change your mode. You can also press tab and it'll give you a pie menu to change modes. What's it called? So you have modeling, sculpting, I showed you guys those. UV editing, which is after the retopology phase and you want to get prepared to texture your model. Once you get prepared to texture model, you want to UV edit it so that on the 2D plane it's in proper condition. You guys don't understand what that is right now, but I'll show you guys all of those good stuff. Right now this is just a tour of Blender so that you can get accustomed to it. I want you guys to download Blender. That'll be your homework. Download Blender and just play around, do whatever you want. Texture painting is when you actually are painting on your model and texturing it. Shading is when you're using this shader editor, which I'll show you guys how to use to give it a nice let me show you a little some give it a nice texture. So I'll make it like this and metallic, and now you kind of have like a gold. This is like a basic gold. Like we will want something a little bit better than this, but I mean, there you go. And then this is material preview mode, so I'm gonna go back to over here. So right now, this is what the workbench looks like. This is what you're creating on. This is workbench. You can see your wireframe by clicking right here. You see where my mouse is. You can click right here and you can see the wireframe. You can also click this box that will just show you see-through version, I should say. And then if you unclick it, it'll take that out. And then wireframe shows you not only see-through but also your wireframe. If you don't want to see through it and see your wireframe, like I showed you before, just come over here and show your wireframe and they'll show it right on top. Now to see the material we just did, now you go to material preview mode and now it's gold, like I just created. You understand? So then what's it called, you can go into render mode and see exactly what you'll get when you render. When you render, this is exactly what it's gonna look like. This is exactly what it's gonna look like, dark and everything. And you can add with this menu, you come over here and you can add anything you want. So let me see, I'm going to add a light just so I can get it nice and lit up. So let me see. If I come over here to this, I can turn up the wattage on this. And now so what's it called, that didn't do too much of a difference because it's a point light. But what I will do is right here, if you see where my mouse is, you can change any light you already created into whatever light we have available. So we can use a sunlight, which isn't doing our model justice right now. We could do a spotlight, which you have to kind of aim it the way you want to, and then an area light, which is kind of giving us a nice little look a little bit. I'm gonna use the spotlight and just aim it. What's it called? But I'll also show you guys how to render, and that's just basic settings on how to light your things and render out your final product and get it all nice and looking good. So I'm gonna show you guys all of those things in my course, and it's gonna be right here on Blender for you on YouTube for you guys to watch. But I think that's basically everything. I showed you guys pretty much the whole tour, I guess. But yeah, that's basically everything. I'm not really missing anything. What I want you guys to do for homework is make sure to like the video. Y'all not liking the videos, I need y'all to come over here, like the video, and then go ahead and download Blender and just play around with it, see whatever you want. Remember, it's very simple if you think about it simply. If you come in here and you get overwhelmed by things, it's because you're not thinking of it the way I told you to. Just make sure every only play around for right now before you mess with me. Before I teach you guys the modes, only mess around in object mode, edit mode, and scope mode, because that's going to keep your brain limited to thinking about, I'm just moving vertices, I'm just moving vertices, I'm just moving vertices. When you think of it like that, then it becomes way simpler. And then the next steps after that, where you get into all these other modes, vertex paint, weight paint, texture paint. I don't use vertex paint too much, but I'll show you guys what vertex paint does. But weight paint, texture paint, when you get into animation is also just moving vertices. When you're animating, you're just simply moving vertices from the way you modeled it to moving and showing motion. If I model a human by moving vertices in the modeling, then I rig it. I'm just using the rig as a unique way to move the vertices to make it look like the model is moving. But that's all you're doing, is just moving vertices. And I think people don't understand that when they get into 3D, become 3D artists or pursue a 3D career, and it overwhelms them. So just think of it that simply, as I'm just moving vertices. Like the video, check me out later. That was your Blender tour, and I'm gonna get into more in depth in the next few videos. All right.